New this morning, King Tut is coming to COSI in 2 days. That means the long-awaited tomb and treasures from Egypt's ancient pharaoh come to life.
Look at all that gold. This morning, we're live at COSI with Josh Sarver, COSI's Vice President of Exhibits and Programs. Josh, good morning to you as you're surrounded in all that gold. It's so shiny and beautiful. Talk about this exhibit. And first of all, the fact that COSI is the #1 science museum for a 4th year in a row. So having an exhibit like this, I mean, that's just quite a coup.
Yeah, that's right. You know, what better place than the #1 science center in the country, voted by you all, and we're really appreciative of that for 4 years running. And as you pointed out, these beautiful pieces of artwork, what you see here, these are actually from the coffins themselves, from the tomb of the great Tutankhamun, the king pharaoh, the young boy of 9 years old who ascended to the throne many thousands of years ago.
So, you know, I think it's interesting, Josh, we're talking about the science and COSI, but there's a cultural lesson to be learned here too. Can you talk a bit about that?
Absolutely. You know, as you look at these different objects and artifacts, it's beautiful to see the different cultural representations that you see here through the artists themselves. You know, whether the belief systems or the things that they wanted to take with them into the afterlife, you'll see these represented across the different objects themselves. So these beautiful coffins, you know, the outer shell itself, the inner shell, and then the sarcophagus itself. Each one of these things is laid with these great inscriptions in gold in different types of materials that really make it unique, you know, highlighting the life of King Tut himself, everything all the way down to even his own cartouche that highlights his name and the belief systems that they had.
Josh, these details are so intricate on these artifacts. They're so ancient, they're so fragile. How do you preserve something like this, and how do you get it into COSI safely to protect it?
That's a great question. You know, as you can see right here, I am really close to this particular object itself. And what we have is reproductions of those actual objects. And that's why we can get as close as we can here, you know, within this close distance. So I can look at each one of these objects itself and get as close as I can. But even though these are replications of the actual real objects, they are just as priceless as the real thing. So working with our curators, making sure we are careful and working with the exhibitors themselves, we are safely bring these in and keep them safe as they are here in our environment.
I'm about to be a mom to you, Josh, and say, don't touch that!
I know.
Like, don't put your hands on that. But real quick, as the VP of Exhibits, what do you look into when you're trying to figure out what's the next big exhibit to bring to COSI? Like, what's the thought process behind it?
You know, one of the things that excited us very much about this exhibit is it's 100 years of discovery since Dr. Carter actually opened up the tomb itself. So we look to look for historical and cultural references that really draw us into this different type of exhibits such as this. But we also look to our members, we look to our public, and we survey them to figure out what really excites them. What are the different topics that they might, you know, draw them into COSI and engage them with new content, whether it's science, technology, engineering, math, or even art.
So
we
cool.
are excited to bring those to them if they're interested.
Josh, very quickly, anything weird going on at COSI since King Tut's been in town?
You know, I'm keeping my eye open.
Okay.
You never know. They talk about King Tut's curse.
Yes.
You know, unfortunately, if I could knock on wood, I would. You know, we haven't seen anything yet.
Don't knock on anything around there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us, Josh. It's the t-shirt for me.
I love
I gotta
it.
get to
Yeah,
COSI and get
so
one of
cool.
those. Thanks so much.